Hey, thanks for listening. Please subscribe to our newsletter at theproductporch.com for notifications on the latest episodes and exclusive content. You are watching someone else's kids, and you don't know these kids, but you really, really want to just get them to calm down. You want to entertain them, so you're going to put on a movie. You can turn on The Godfather? I'm just throwing on a Pixar movie, and I'm done. I got a 90-something% chance this is gonna work out.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes just remembering that when we go to present to leadership, you can be safe that they want to grow revenue and reduce costs. That's your Pixar movie.
Welcome to the Product Porch with Joe Ghali, Todd Blaquiere, and me, Ryan Cantwell. Today on the Porch, we answer a listener question. How do you convince leaders AI is worth the investment when the ROI isn't always easy to see? Now settle in, folks, because on the Product Porch, every topic is a product topic.
Cards of Milwaukee on the wall, and they have one
Joe,
for Marquette.
It's Milwaukee.
With Algonquin for the good place. So speaking of Milwaukee, I worked in Greenfield, Wisconsin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee many years ago at a company called Reader's Digest. I think many of you know I worked in publishing. Todd talks about his experience at the LA Times. I had a really meaningful experience working at Reader's Digest, and I met someone by the name of Beth, who was also a product manager when I was there. And she actually reached out to me. She's like, Joe, I have this challenge that I'm dealing with in my organization, and it had to do with how to position AI adoption and product managers. Like, how are they able to demonstrate the value of AI in a way that really resonates with leadership, right? Because they're like, Joe, we're all in. We got M365. We're rolling it out. It's like every fifth word and every speech and every meeting, it's AI. And the challenge she's dealing with, her and I were talking about this. She's like, it's not a deliverable, right? It's embedded, it's baked into the work that they're doing. And so, she's like, it's helping us make decisions faster. It's helping us move faster. But it's kind of invisible, right? How do you make it visible to the people who need to see it, who are the ones that keep on writing the checks and approving the licensing fees that are associated with it? So she had asked, specific if we could have an episode where we talk about how do we measure and communicate AI's impact when it's more like a workflow accelerator, not a shipped feature. So gentlemen, by the way, always glad to be back on the porch with you guys. Happy Memorial Day. What say you? What do you guys think? What's your reaction when I asked that question on behalf of Beth? By the way, Beth, awesome question. We're really excited to talk about it today.
Yes, a big thank you to Beth and Todd. I'm going to very shamelessly rip you off because just as we were talking about Beth's question before the episode, you said something that really resonated with me. And it was, there's so much conversation in the world today about leadership putting top-down pressure on AI. And Beth's looking at it from the other way around. How do I go from the bottom up to demonstrate the value that AI brings to the table? Because I'm sure there are people out there where there might be reluctance from others in the organization, but you see benefit in the efficiency gains, the things that it's able to do for you. I think it's a really cool perspective that we get to talk about today, looking at it that direction.
Well, it's interesting. I heard multiple problems in what you shared, Joe, and let me see if I captured these problems right. So one problem I hear, so there's a lot of AI conversation. So we're hearing a lot of AI conversation. One problem I hear implied in there is maybe with that AI conversation, a lot of what we're doing is internal enablement, not external AI product. One is, how do we define the value? Like, how do we actually measure the value of this thing that we just do or is becoming part of our operation, part of our life? Then another one is actually, how do we communicate that value, right? Because these are two separate problems that you have. But Joe, did I capture that right? Is it really more about, is it about more of one of these things, or is it both equally? How do I measure it? And then how do I communicate it and demonstrate it?
I think she's struggling with the communicating it. Like, how do you do it in a way that really resonates with executive leadership who may not really understand, like, yeah, there's a lot of benefit happening. It's hard to show it to you because I'm not delivering a feature that has it.
Then let's solve for problem number 2. And along the way, we're going to solve for problem number 1 because it implies that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about that, so I'll jump in. I'll kick it off here. I'm going to make it really simple. It'll sound overly simple, but it's true. You've heard me talk about, I've mentioned profitable revenue before, right? What does the CEO want? Profitable revenue. What's the CEO's job? Profitable revenue. So your board, your leadership team, that's what they care about. That means there's two metrics that they care about. Revenue, cost. That's what they care about, because that's how you make profitable revenue, right? That's how you make margin, is you get new revenue, you manage your costs. Okay, I know I'm oversimplifying, but I think it's important to start there. So whenever you're thinking about communicating with leadership, communicating with the board, and you go in to start saying, here's why this thing is valuable, or here's this impact I've provided for the company. If it can't be landed in revenue or cost, it's not going to have the same impact in that communication. We talked about this before with product managers, right? The ones, you have multiple product managers presenting products. The one in there who can put it in numbers so that people can see, oh, we have a potential of this revenue if we go with that idea. That person will do better to get adoption to their idea than the rest of the room.
Yeah, it was interesting because I had done some research on this, and there was a stat, and it was something to the effect of the share of companies abandoning most of their AI projects jumped to 42% in 2025, up from 17% the year before, with cost and value, unclear value cited as top reasons. So like, I don't think executives are being unreasonable, right? They're becoming skeptical. I think they're becoming even more skeptical now than ever.
Well, let's highlight the risk. And this could be a whole episode on its own. And I know we've talked about doing this. But highlight a risk really quick. So we're a leadership team, the three of us, right? And we hire some people to work at the product Porch. Wouldn't that be so cool, by the way?
It would be cool.
That would be the best.
Imagine if they did editing and marketing for us. Anyway, so we hire some people, right? And we want to grow, and we're trying to grow. And as they're doing that, they start leveraging AI tools. And we're all about it. Because hey, you can edit faster, you can promote faster. We're about that. Let's capture that revenue, right? So they start doing that. But each of them start going off on their own and adopting different tools and leveraging it. And they're just adding the bill. And they're coming back, hey, Joe, I just added another subscription. And we got the cloud subscription. You're like, okay. Now, by the way, we want to do some design. We added a Vercel subscription. You're like, okay. Hey, by the way, we needed to do this thing, so we added a Gemini subscription. And then after a while, you're just looking at the bill and you're going, yo, we are now spending $250 a month on AI tools. Or at a larger company, we are now spending $10,000 a month on AI tools. What am I getting for this?
Right.
What are you giving me? And that's going to be the risk. And as people run agents against things, like I had a tech lead on our team this last week push on me because I created something. He said, Todd, why didn't you just make this code? Make it code so you don't have, it's the same thing every time. Make it code so we don't have to run it every time. And he's right. That will save us on AI token costs. And so imagine you have all these people with these agents running tokens, and you have subscriptions and token usage going, and that does not scale. And so when you're putting that pressure on your company, hey, adopt AI, and everyone starts adopting AI, suddenly you have this huge bill and you don't know what that bill is for. You don't know what you've done with all that money. So that's a risk. And so it's a great question from Beth, because that's what her team is thinking about.
Yeah. And I think the area she was struggling with is some of the more junior PMs on her team. And I hope I'm not paraphrasing Beth on this one, so I apologize. But when I wrote down, it was velocity. It's like, the easy metric is faster cycle times, less time on routine tasks, which was good initially because it got people using AI, because like that was the first big hurdle and then I think a lot of like our organization, same thing, right? It was like, just go in and play around with it. I think we talked about that. I think even you, Todd, you had the analogy. I use it to, I take a picture of my refrigerator and what's inside. I need a high protein meal. Help me come up with something, right? So I think now a lot of organizations have moved past that threshold of I have people putting their toe in the water. Now they're using it for summarizing their emails. Now or helping them write emails. Now they're using it to summarize meeting notes. Like I think people are past that.
Yes.
Right? Which is good, but kind of like cha-ching, 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 like the tokens get used up, cha-ching, cha-ching. And it's like, okay, people are using it. They're more efficient. So what? Right? It's kind of like what I'm stealing Ryan's line. So what? Who cares?
So she's already done the first right thing, right? You're right, Ryan. So what?
So what?
So
she's already doing the right. She's already moving up the adoption curve of AI, right? Because it starts, to your point, Joe, First of all, we just need to get toes in the water. We just need to play with it. We had this about a year and a half ago, and I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast before. A year and a half ago or more, we met with our product team and engineering team, and we talked about how, hey, we shared with them the Industrial Revolution, like we did on this podcast. We talked about the Industrial Revolution. We said, you can either move up or move down. There's not going to be a middle layer anymore. You're going to need to adopt this and move up with it, or be someone who does not want to, and you're going to move down in your career. There's no balancing in the center anymore. And so at that time, it was a big push. Hey, let's try this. Let's try that. And a lot of people on my team tried different things. And I approved a $20 subscription there and a $20 subscription there. And they tried things. That's step one. Beth is already doing step two, which is fantastic. Step two is now I need to start measuring my operational impact of this. How do I measure? Like, what do we do? What are we gaining with this? And she's seeing it. She's saving cycle times. We're reducing cycle times here. Maybe it's in design. Maybe it's on engineering, but she's starting to see we're doing that. That's step three, I think is what we're talking about, is where a lot of people get stuck, is now we need to capture that in impact. Yeah. And it's going to impact us in one of two ways, cost or revenue. So for an example, just a quick, easy example, we have an engineering team who's sped up, right? So they're saving a bunch of time on coding. That's, hey, reduce time. That's fantastic. We have this time savings. Now we monetize that in two ways. Either one, we leverage it to create more new things that produce revenue, more revenue producing things. Mm-hmm. So now we can measure that and say, hey, that has actually given us greater opportunity to make revenue. And this is what we think that can land in. And that time savings, because of that, we believe we can complete out our roadmap, our PI, whatever we call it, our plan for this year. We think we can hit our metrics without hiring a new engineer. So remember, we had 3 engineers the second half of the year on the hiring plan. We actually believe we could take them off now because we've accelerated. Now the moment you don't hire is the moment you actually captured the savings.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a big selling point at BetterRx. It was a big celebration. Our UX designer leaned hard into AI, and she's got an AI tool set. And because of that, by now we would have hired another one, and we haven't done that. And so she has saved the company, hundreds of thousands of dollars per year because of her leveraging AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and her and I were talking about it. And so at CNA, we have a value management team. I think this is okay to talk about. And one of the big things we do with investments, anything big investment wise, we create a scorecard, because we do like a quarterly review to say, well, should we continue to invest in X, Y, Z, right? And, I think they're getting their arms around what are those metrics that we're going to measure. And I think Ryan knows Asha from one of the teams there. One of the things they do before they do the scorecard, which I'm trying to get other teams to think about, is do you baseline it? Because in order to, I think some people say, oh, I'm going to start measuring it, but they're like, well, where did you start? What's the baseline?
Yeah.
How are you measuring it? Right.
And I'm going to do a very product manager thing. And I think baselining it, having a starting point is good, but it's easy to go into an AI tool set and start to think, well, look at all of the possibilities. But I think the best first move is define a high value problem to solve, just like we would for a customer, but you're doing it for yourself. What problem is it solving for me? Let's focus on that. And then that way you're not trying to measure everything. Todd's giving me a round of applause. I love it.
A literal round of applause.
But going in and picking, okay, this is painful to me. This is the root cause of the problem. I think AI can help me. That way you're not trying to baseline a million things. Now let's just see if we can. And I think estimates are okay. I want to just put that in the world, right? You don't need to take a month and write down how to the second what you've done. Estimate. It's okay.
You really want to grab someone from the finance team and help you with that metrics. It will be more
credible.
It will be more credible that you had someone in finance help you. And a lot of people get stuck there on I don't know what someone makes. I'm estimating savings based on their salary. I don't know what they make. Mm-hmm. Here's what I've learned. Just put in a number and share it with finance. And guess what? They'll catch that and they'll change it. So, because if you ask, hey, I want to know what that team makes, it might be like, we can't give you that information. So then make an estimate, do your best estimate. If they say that looks good, you were close enough.
Right.
So I think the thing though that she's still struggling though, I'm going to go back to Beth's question. She's like, Joe, our AI is still invisible. She's like, it's invisible. I can't see something.
What does she mean by that? Say more.
Great question.
Because she doesn't she knows it. Like, that's smart. Like, she sees the engine moving faster, more efficiently, less rework, better decisions. Like, she's seeing the engine working more efficiently, right? I think there are people, executive leadership in her organization, that are like expecting something to spit out that's amazing. Like, they're expecting some shiny objects, shiny feature that can be touted on Wall Street. Because I think she's like, this is great. We're more efficient. But she's like, we have Wall Street we have to answer to.
Right.
And I'm having a hard time getting them excited about the engine moving more efficiently. She's like, Joe, it's a cost saving. She's like, I get it. Kind of like what Todd's saying, right? But she's like, we're still struggling with, well, I don't see it. What's the new thing that we're going to do that's going to wow people, that's going to grow revenue, that's going to get people excited to want to invest in our organization? Like, that is, she's like, it's probably a little bit of organizational change management, but she's like, we're still stuck. We're still stuck in our narrative. People aren't excited. They're still not as excited if you come up with something new.
Yeah. And I get really, really frustrated about the AI hype train. And what the board and shareholders and people are looking for is that big, exciting thing. And I think what that's doing to us product managers is putting so much pressure on us to have that go hit a home run, go step up to the plate, hit a home run. But we need to understand, Todd, I'm going to bring it back. Revenue. There's top line AI and there's bottom line AI, cost. What mostly we've talked about today is bottom line AI, saving, efficiency gains, saving. Top line AI is what value will AI create for my customers? And I think what shareholders, board members, executives fail to realize is AI isn't a magic wand that you can wave and go create value for people. We need to understand what value we are trying to create and if AI is an option to do that.
I think, Joe, you mentioned a good stakeholder here when you said the shareholder or the investor and what are they investing in, right? Well, think about when you watch Shark Tank. And sure, there's plenty of times they bid on something that just looks sexy and cool. But some of the moments that stand out, the products that stand out most to me were things that were not very sexy products. What were sexy were the economics, the unit economics. How much did it take to produce that? 50 cents a unit. How much do you sell it for? $20. Holy cow, right?
Yeah, very true.
And that's what investors are thinking about. So if you need to make this strategic, the way that you make this strategic is you focus on those things that investors are going to care about. And a word that we use here all the time is scalability. We want to scale. We want to grow. We have some aggressive growth goals. What can enable us to grow faster? One, capturing more customers faster, right? Let's just grab clients. We grab clients more, that we're going to grow faster. If we want to grow our net revenue, we can also aggressively reduce our costs, and that'll help us grow. When we think about scalability, the first thing that comes to mind is if we are able to actually reduce our cost of acquisition, if we're able to reduce our unit costs, then we can do a number of things with that. We can reinvest that in multiple new areas that help us grow, or we could just be more aggressive on pricing. And so that's when I think about, if I think about this a lot, if I was someone right now who owned a trade business in a community, the reason I would be leveraging AI is to reduce my costs. That would be to reduce my costs, but to reduce my price. That would be my goal. I want to get so aggressive on back office enablement that I can actually do more with less. I can acquire more customers. I don't have to add another back office person to like triple, quadruple in size. And then I'd find where that saves me on the price. So now I can be more competitive in the marketplace. And so I think that's how you make it strategic, right? That's how you bring it home and make it strategic. And this is what is sexy to investors.
So let me ask you guys this question. If a PM walks into a room, I actually thought of that. This is like a joke, but it's not. Yeah.
PM walks into a bar.
PM walks into a room. No, they walk into a leadership meeting tomorrow. What's the one metric they should lead with?
I'm going to take a swing at it. Number one, okay, who is the primary stakeholder I'm trying to convince? Is it the CEO?
Leadership.
Is it the CFO? Is it the CEO?
Okay. I would say C-suite.
C-suite. The whole C-suite.
Yeah.
Okay. So C-suite. So Joe, this is so nuanced. What are my strategic goals this year?
Hey,
I think you know where I'm going with this.
I'm going to help your scenario. I'm going to help. You don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
You don't
So
know.
I'm going to have to go in and tell the story. The metrics I'm coming in with, I am going to try to show both a bottom line improvement and a top line improvement. I'm going to pick something because it's, I always say every business has a junk drawer. You guys have junk drawers.
Oh, totally.
Right?
We all
And we open
drawers.
the business's junk drawer gets opened and you reach in, you know what's inside? KPIs. It's filled with KPIs. And we could track anything. And you just need to know which is the one that they care about. I'm not just going to randomly pick one. I'm going to pick the one that's going to make them sit up and go, wait, what? What did you say?
So it would be a career limiting move to tell a leadership or tell someone that's in leadership, like, just be patient, because we have a bunch of positive leading indicators that are showing us positive momentum. Give us another year and then I'll tell you what the result, a lagging indicator is. I think maybe that's the challenge is people are getting impatient because they don't know how long, I'm seeing all these productivity gains. How long before I start to see something meaningful on the bottom line?
Well, I think, Joe, it's telling the story of the connection, because you're right. I'm not going to walk in and say, oh, the lagging indicator 2 years from now is going to be this. I'm going to say right now we are doing this thing. It's having this positive impact. That positive impact translates to this, which translates to that.
So there's a term we use. So we have an AI document that we use with our board for impact. And I'm trying to take a look. And the term that we use is we have a line item for potential revenue and cost impact. So we have two different line items there. And then realized. And so this is important. You need to have your leading indicators, because we have our metric, we have our target, we have our actual. And so usually that's the leading indicator. We want to see a reduction in cycle time of X, right? And to date, we've seen a reduction of cycle time of X plus 1. So we're really excited about that. We believe the lagging outcome will be Y, and we're going to measure that with this potential Z impact on either cost or revenue. To Ryan's point, a lot of times you can't do both. Sometimes you can. But a lot of times it's one or the other. But again, it's meaningful as long as we at least put a number on it. And at times you have to do estimates and forecasting. Like, you have to give some sense. And so the one thing I will say, the only thing I heard wrong what you said, Joe, when you're like, is this a career limiting move? The only actual mistake there is just saying we don't know what the result would be. Now, if I'm going to invest, you got to give me some indication of what it's going to look like. Maybe not a promise. It's not a promise, but this is also why we do estimates often on 3 different scales, right? Here's our optimistic, here's our realistic, here's what we think is. So we have 3 different estimates. Usually you're doing that, and you can do that and say, hey, we think if this produces the baseline impact, we think will be that. We think it's a potential of even that. So you can give a range. We think we're going to save between X and Y dollars over the course of a year. I want to jump back one thing though, Joe, because Ryan, I think this will help people sometimes when you're in that situation where you have to do a presentation for someone and you don't know exactly what they want. I'm going to put you guys in a situation. Okay, so you are watching someone else's kids. They're a bunch of kids under 5, and you don't know these kids. You've not known these kids. You don't know them. You don't know what they're into, but you really, really want to just get them to calm down. You want to entertain them. So you're going to put on a movie. You don't know them. What are you going to do? Are you going to turn on The Godfather? I mean, that's a great movie.
Scarface.
Turn on The Godfather.
So what are you likely to do in that situation? Just pick any movie. I don't care.
I'm going to ask
questions
of the kids.
Start asking questions. Yeah.
I might do some reviews. Maybe I'll go to chat and be like, "Hey, I got a bunch of 5-year-olds. What's a family friendly movie?"
I'm just throwing on a Pixar movie and I'm done. I'm throwing on a Pixar movie and
I know that's going to be safe.
I got a 90-something% chance this is gonna work out, right? Like, and the parents aren't gonna get upset. So I think sometimes just remembering that when we go to present to leadership and you're like, I don't actually know what the strategy is. Now that sucks. Really, that means leadership's not doing their job. Just say that. But you can be safe that they want to grow revenue and reduce costs. That's your Pixar movie.
Yep.
So no matter what, and you don't know if they've been talking about AI a lot. You don't know if they've been talking a lot about improving internal optimization, or if they have this one bet of a new market they want to move into. You don't know that yet, but you do know you will get their ear if you say something about producing revenue or reducing costs. So I think what would be fun to talk about though, is we're talking about this, Ryan, you made the comment, you still have to connect the line. I think it was a good push, Joe. Like, A lot of times I may not know where I'm going to land. Well, you got to figure out something.
Yeah.
And then I may have some leading indicators, but I'm having trouble communicating these leading indicators in value. I'd love to talk about that. First off, what are some of the leading indicators we see if we're operationalizing AI at our company on a product team? What are some of the things that we might be seeing as a leading indicator? And then how do we turn that into a potential impact in cost or revenue?
Well, the story I would tell, and these are all hypothetical situations, right? But I am going to try to find that connection between even the bottom line and the top line, where I've noticed this time saving. I have this much time back. Do you know what that lets me do? I have more time to go do more discovery and identify if there's a good problem to solve and if AI can be applied here. So I'm trying to find those pieces to show them like there is something meaningful here and we are realizing it in a way. I mean, time savings is an obvious one, but it could be in that opportunity gain. Like we're getting this time, we're leveraging that time in a particular way.
Yeah. The big one for us is the reduction in rework.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic.
That's
Good.
a big one.
Yeah.
Because it's really twofold. There's a anecdotal component to it and a quantitative component to it, meaning on the receiving end, my customers are becoming more developing a stronger trust in what we're going to deliver is what they're asking for because we've done the better discovery and vetted it out.
Let's turn that into money.
Like, what?
Let's turn that into money. We can turn that into money now.
Sure.
Okay, so we are reducing rework. What are some things that we can look at? We can start doing some math to get us to money. I'm just gonna say.
I mean, you could take a salary of a developer and say, I don't know, make an
How
hourly
much time
rate.
did they spend on the last time we had to rework something? What was the opportunity? So, Joe, are you ready for a WizGIF reference?
What was the business value?
The business value, a cost of delay.
Cost of delay.
Nice cost of delay of maybe we didn't hit the market fast enough with something. Was there we didn't realize revenue soon enough? Maybe we would
market
look
share
at
increase. Yeah.
what, and not even that. What did we not work on as a result of having to go back and do that rework and now lost out on? There's the knock-on effect from those things. And I mean, yes, there are time elements where we can measure increments of time and assign a dollar value. There's the people, the resources, but those opportunity costs of we missed it. We missed the money coming in.
Yeah. It's almost like, because we do PI planning, which I'm still behind because I think there's a lot of value in bringing people together. It's almost like the PM at the beginning of every PI, when we talk about what did we achieve, it's almost they should take like 5 minutes and share some of those success stories. Like they should just build like a narrative and just re-emphasize it to that group so the group sees it. You know what I mean? Instead of just reporting on it, like you just have to, and this is like the storyteller piece of being a really good PM is like, you've got to be at the top of the mountain shouting it. But to your point, Ryan, it's like, there's multi-pronged. It's like, we reduced rework. Great. What's the value? Well, business partner trusts us. They're bringing us in earlier in the conversation because they believe that by bringing us in early, we're going to build better. So that's better for the company because that reduces meetings. So it's like, check there. And then B, we reduced the rework. What does that mean? Well, that means we were able to get to this. So in this PI, we were able to deliver X, Y, Z more than we have in the past because we've reduced our churn. It's like, you almost like have to have like that discipline of like telling the story, like the testimony. It's like you have to have like reviews ready to share at the beginning of the PI to like build that narrative and get people thinking about. Like, it's almost like you have to keep doing it over and over and over again to remind people, hey, we're doing something with this investment. You know what I mean? Like you just have to be like that charismatic leader that touts those successes. And over time, at the end of the year, you remind them of all the things we achieved so they don't forget. You know what I mean? It's like, I think part of it is like the storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
And the testimonials that you gather along the way that kind of helps executive leadership kind of fall in line with what you're doing.
And that works as long as this is captured somewhere. Like I said, we have a document that we use with our board that tracks what we're doing with AI, the metrics that we're hitting and the impact that it's having. And so at the end of the day, when someone is going to make a decision about how well is this product leader doing with their part of the organization, you're not going to be in the room. they're going to be looking at documentation. They're going to be looking at numbers. They're going to be looking at something. Something I think that helps too is, when we started in that phase 1 of, hey, everyone dip your toe in the water and start doing some stuff. And it was like, hey guys, what impact are we having? We had to go retrospectively. We didn't have a baseline. Let's go retrospective. We used to take about that much time. Now we take about this much time, and we kind of estimated it that way. But now as we're going forward, because we've moved up to number 1, operationalizing it, and we're moving up into number, I guess that would be 1, 2, 3, moving up into 3 now of actually, making sure we're measuring that impact. Now that we're in that space, we're doing a lot more of what Ryan was talking about. We have a product manager on our team who owns the internal optimization stream. And so what he does is he actually goes around throughout the organization to identify the biggest problems slowing them down, making them less productive. And so he's looking at our customer success managers. What are you? And they're saying, well, we wish we could synthesize this data and create these reports faster. He's going to our pharmacy team. Oh, we wish we could identify partners faster. He's going to our pricing team. It takes so long to do this pricing analysis. And then what he's doing is he's taking that and capturing, if we remove that problem, if I removed it, what would be that operational effect, in terms of value, in terms of time value. And then now, if we had that operational effect, what would that mean in terms of savings? And then my push for him, he came back. It was an awesome rubric. He could show each of these problems, operational effect, meaning we're going to save X amount of time, save Y amount of time, Z amount of time. And then he would show me the full year total. That savings is da-da-da-da-da. But my push to him was, okay, now show me where that impacts the hiring plan. Like, tell me how many accounts can we add before I have to add another person to this team? Because that's what's going to move my CFO. When I tell her, hey, I just took 3 heads off your hiring plan the second half of the year, she's going to go, yay, that she'll be stoked. I'll be a superhero.
Yeah.
So that's up leveling. That's level 3 to what Ryan's talking about. Level 2 is we've gone backwards and we've said, hey, how much is this saving us? And we've put that together in numbers. Level 3 is now we're going forwards and we're actually seeking out where's the best opportunity. And you can have as a product leader, have your team do that. Tell them, hey, I want you to find the thing with your product pod that has we say it this way. We'll say the thing that requires the most amount of effort that produces the least amount of value. Find for me that thing that you just do. It takes time, but doesn't create value. And then I want you to estimate the impact of that time. And then we're going to find the best one and we're going to solve that. We're going to solve that with AI.
And I have a quick pro tip for everybody right now. If you're having trouble finding that thing, if you have an AI tool that you're using regularly that is integrated into Microsoft 365, your email, Slack, Asana, Monday.com, whatever it is, you just ask the AI, what am I doing that I could leverage AI to help me do better? And it tells you. It's amazing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's a great point. And what I did for I spun up this quick little HTML page. It was just, honestly, it took me about 10 minutes. It was during a meeting. Someone mentioned the cost benefit analysis because we just talked about you can invest a lot of time building something that doesn't actually save you time. Yeah. So I built a quick HTML page just to share with my company. I'm like, hey guys, here's something you can do. Put in how much time it saves you. Put in how often you do this thing. And it will tell you when it pays you back. Like it'll tell you 2 months, 6 months. It tells you when it pays you back. And that helps you make the decision. Should I even spend time in this? Because when you find that one thing that says, oh, it's going to pay you back in a week, that thing is build that thing. That thing is worth time.
Do that. Yeah.
We have like an AI team, like a group of individuals. Like we do things called AI pods where we have like a product manager sit with somebody in the business and they watch them, right? They interview them. They okay, what takes a long time for them to execute a particular task? And there's been some success stories that have come out of these AI pods. So Katie is the head of our AI governance team. We have a lot of leaders that are like, oh, I want to do AI pods. I want to do AI pods. And I love Katie because I'm on her emails and she's like, okay, well, how would we know we were successful if we implemented an AI pod? And you're like, what's the impact of doing this? Like, how do we know that we've been successful in trying out this pilot? What does success look like? And so she's even now leading with those questions with business leaders so that it isn't, hey, I want to be part of the cool kids group and I want to do something really cool. Well, does it make sense? Should we even try it? How will you know we've solved the problem? These are questions you should ask before even going into it so that you know what does success even look like in those scenarios.
Yeah.
I think we should just go back to Beth's question. put a nice bow on it when she talks about it's invisible in the process. How do you make it visible? What I would say is, so given our conversation, don't worry so much about the what. Worry about the why and the impact it's creating, and then work backwards. So over the course of 2025, we believe we have saved the company $220,000 of cost. We have done that by enabling our design team with Figma AI and Vercel and a tool that does AI user testing. A tool that does user testing. What this has enabled us to do is speed up cycle time by X, design cycle time by X, and given us something else by Y. Okay, great. But the ultimate result is we would have hired another designer in June and we didn't. And therefore, we captured X amount of savings. So I think that's just a story to your point, Joe. That's the story you tell. But lead with the money, end with the money. Don't focus on because I hear Beth saying, who's going to get excited by my designer now uses Figma AI? No one cares. It's certainly your investors. She's right. Like that's not going to excite them. What's going to excite them when you say that we're saving $220,000? I just made up a number off the top of my head, by the way.
Love it. Should we do key takeaways?
Yeah, that'd be great. Unless Ryan has one more thing to say in his Knicks colored shirt. He's wearing Knicks orange today.
We got my Knicks orange on.
The series has gone so poorly with the Cavs that he's flipped sides on game 4. He's like, forget it. I'm out. He's like, I'm out.
At least the Cavs haven't been down 50 at halftime yet, like my lowly Atlanta Hawks. So it's good.
Cavs have already done better. I don't know what to tell you there, buddy.
Though I can tout that the last team to beat the Knicks were the Atlanta Hawks.
That's true.
All right. So as we have this conversation today, I think what I'm hearing is just because the letters A and I are applied to the pressures, no matter which direction it's coming from, I'm hearing we approach things very similarly to how we always have as product people. Like, let's try to connect some value back to the audience that cares about it. How can we show them that we're creating business value in one way or another, whether that's bottom line or top line? And again, product managers, that is a skill. I think it was David Nash that we had on the podcast talking about this very thing. And this is just kind of like drawing a big hard line under it for me.
My takeaway here is, man, as humans, we are so good at making things more complex. I don't know how we've gotten great at that, but we love doing that. I do this to myself all the time. All the time, I make things harder on myself. As we were having this conversation, building on Ryan's point, we're having this conversation. I just went back to, we can simplify this for ourselves. Business leaders care about costs and revenue. Figure out the dollar signs and you will be a winning product manager every time. In any case, when we're struggling with these things, we should ask ourselves the question, what am I making too hard here? What are the simple guiding principles that will lead me to success?
So we did an episode a few months ago and it was like the role of the product manager. You're a charismatic leader. You've got to be able to read the crowd. You got to have high EQ, right? Know what matters to your executive leadership team, right? When you're talking about the impact of AI, remember that our job is to translate the impact into language that they actually care about. So it's like just kind of like connecting the dots of like, okay, do they care about cost? Which a lot of companies are right now. Then your narrative, how you position the impact should be in a way that resonates with them, right? It's kind of like practice that product management skill of like goals, objectives, pain points. Going into that conversation, lead knowing you have that information in your melon, and then speak to those metrics that are going to resonate with your executive leadership team. Communicate in a way that you're going to get them excited about it.
Love that. Thank you, Beth, for the question. It's an awesome question.
Thank you, Beth. I hope she gives us more 100%.
Questions. That's good.
Yes. By the way, if Todd mentioned the monkey. I think the last 2 episodes we talk about the monkey on the pedestal with Shakespeare. Not only a monkey,
he's speaking Shakespeare.
Yes, make sure you listen to the previous 2 episodes because you'll get the full story about the monkey speaking Shakespeare on a pedestal, which I still enjoy very much. So
good call out, Joe.
All right, gentlemen. All right, it's good seeing you.
Enjoy your hot dogs and hamburgers today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us on the Product Porch. We release new episodes every 2 weeks. You can also find us on LinkedIn for more content. We offer a special thank you to AJ and Jack Blaquiere for the music. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts of this podcast are their own and do not represent nor necessarily reflect those of their employer.